Welcome everybody to the podcast on Embedded Next Gen channel. It's my first podcast called The Future of Gaming. And today I want to talk about Microsoft and their upcoming Xbox game showcase on the 23rd of July. It's tomorrow. And I want to talk about their exclusives and their hardware, their specs and everything around the new console. So as you all know, the Xbox Series X has better specs compared to the Sony PlayStation 5. That's when you don't count in the SSD, which is super fast. Although Xbox is using the Velocity architecture, and with the Velocity architecture the speed is around 100 times the Xbox One. So the SSD speed isn't that big of a deal, and I think they're comparable in terms of SSD. But in terms of raw power, the Xbox Series X is a lot more powerful. It's around 3 teraflops more powerful if you count in that the PS5 has a sort of boost mode. It has around 9 teraflops, but the speed is variable, so it's overclocked to around 10 teraflops. But the Xbox Series X is 12.1 teraflops. And if you read forums like NeoGAF, you'll find a lot of interesting information about the specs. But I don't want to talk a lot about the specs. I want to talk about the exclusives and the future of Xbox and how they are making a great comeback this new generation with the Xbox Series X. As you all know, the Xbox Series X will launch with Halo Infinite. That's a big game. Halo Infinite, I think it will have 4K, 60 frames per second, maybe even 120 frames per second in multiplayer mode, and HDR, ray tracing, all that good stuff. And they can release Halo Wars 3 in 2022. They could release Halo, the Master Chief Collection, this time in 4K, 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second with ray tracing. So a lot of good stuff on the Halo side. And they could release Halo 6 in a year or two. Of course, they're releasing Halo. Of course, they're releasing Gears of War 6 in a year or two. Gears of War 5 as a launch game with some upgrades, maybe even 120 frames per second multiplayer. So yeah, they could also release Gears of War collection, the same with Halo, 4K Ultra, ray tracing, 120 frames per second, all that good stuff. It could be coming, guys. So that's the obvious games like Forza Motorsport 8, Forza Horizon 5. These games are a given, almost a given. They could be releasing on the new Xbox in the next 2 years, of course. But they have new exclusives coming up like Everwild, Scorn, The Ascent, The Medium, Second Extinction, Age of Empires, Flight Simulator. And they could also release Perfect Dark as a reboot, which is really interesting because Perfect Dark has been one of my favorite games in the Nintendo 64 area, and it's really cool. It's like cyberpunk with GoldenEye elements, and it could really be a big hit, just like Flight Simulator and Age of Empires. These are old franchises, and they will be great on the new Xbox Series X. Of course, we have games like Alan Wake in the past, and its a spiritual successor, Quantum Break. They could be releasing a new Alan Wake, a new Quantum Break, and they have all that good Rare stuff. Rare Replay showed how many games Rare has. They released a lot, around 30 games like Banjo-Kazooie, Conquer, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and yeah, these games are awesome. I think Microsoft has to do something with these games, with these old rare franchises, especially Conquer and Banjo-Kazooie. That will be insane. And yeah guys, I'm really interested in the Xbox Series X event, what they will do, the showcase, the reveal event. It's around 1 hour long, and there's a pre-show with Halo Infinite with Jeff Keighley as a host, and there are so many great things coming up with the Xbox Series X. Xbox Game Pass is awesome. xCloud will be free with the Xbox Game Pass, and of course we have those rumors, Warner Brothers games, Batman, Mortal Kombat, Rampage, Ready to Rumble, Boxing, Spy Hunter, the Lego games, DC games. If Microsoft acquires Warner Brothers games, that would be insane. Of course, I've been a Nintendo fan, I've been a Nintendo player, and for all my childhood, but I grew up with Xbox and PlayStation, and I've been playing on the Xbox a lot more in the last few years because of Gears of War, Halo, Forza Horizon, and yeah, I love Xbox, and I like Xbox a lot more because Xbox is delivering on the online multiplayer part and delivering on the graphics department, gameplay. It's the total package, and I love it. I love the things they do with Xbox Game Pass. I love what they do with Xbox Live and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was a small podcast. I want to know what you think about the Xbox showcase. Are you excited about it? What do you think about the exclusives? Has Microsoft enough exclusives for the next generation? They sure have a lot of content, a lot of franchises, old IPs that they can revive. I'm really excited about a lot of the new exclusives too, like the Ascent, the Medium. Yeah, especially the Ascent. I think that's really a game that could be a great hit. It's maybe not a big game, but like PS4's Resogun, I played that game a lot. This is like a sort of Resogun cross Gears of War and some cyberpunk story. I really love this game. Yeah guys, so let me know what you think about this. This was a mini podcast around the same length of Nintendo's last tiny direct, but yeah, I'm really excited about the Xbox Series X, and it's awesome. I'm excited about the event. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video.